Get the latest movie reviews, Hollywood news, and inside views. It's time for Behind the Screens with Lights, Camera, Jackson on 107.7 GNA.
Here he is, our friend and professional film critic, Lights, Camera, Jackson. He's going to take us behind the screens. And by the way, the only professional film critic in America that hated Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
That's not true.
And he's with us right now. Good morning, Jax. How are you?
That is correct, Jess. Not true. Other people did not like those movies as well. Other professional film critics. Hello to Jess. Hello to Chrissy. And hello, I guess, to a guy named Brian.
I got to tell you, and I know that you take everything with a grain of salt and you kind of laugh it off, but me trolling you on social media and on the air, it's real, okay? I'm really, really angry.
No, you went hard, though, on
I didn't go hard, did I?
On Twitter, I saw, once you saw Deadpool 2, you, like, called him out at Lights, Camera, Jackson. I was like, oh, my gosh, that's just his opinion.
Well, I said, listen, if you go to the movie, like, if you hate Deadpool 2, you don't like to be entertained. You must hate the smell of popcorn. You hate life, or your Lights, Camera, Jackson.
He went easy. He went easy.
Brian, you were doing all of this during the royal wedding, during one of the happiest times in the world for a bunch of people and a bunch of people watching. Are you cruel to really do that during such a joyous occasion to decide to troll me on social media?
By the way, when you get to be my age and 2 divorces later, you have a little different perspective on the quote-unquote royal wedding. But let's get to the real issue here. Is it and Jackson, you know I respect you a lot, but I tend to disagree. Is it possible that you hated DP2 because you didn't like Deadpool and you have to keep it in character to not like the film?
Absolutely not. No, I like sequels all the time that I don't like the first installments of, or vice versa. No, absolutely not. I definitely think this is a slightly better movie, and I noticed that it was in a couple of respects. But I still didn't laugh. If you're going to make me laugh, if you're going to change things up, a new director was brought in, David Leitch. If David Leitch wanted to drastically change the course of this series, he would have done a couple other things, including a serious rewrite of the script and serious changes to make it funny and to make it all make sense. And to me, I didn't laugh. I really didn't laugh, and it all comes down to that.
You truly didn't laugh? Like the scene, and I'm not going to give it away, but the scene with his legs, you truly did not laugh at that?
No, absolutely not.
I find that hard to believe.
I sat there stone-faced for 2 hours, observing various things and noticing a couple of things, certainly that I thought were interesting, different, unique, but no, absolutely not enough to be entertained.
But to say that the movie
not done that for me.
But that movie, though, it's a fun movie experience. Yes, it does have a lot of violence. It's gratuitous. It's not your typical superhero movie. In fact, it's everything about a superhero movie that it shouldn't be. And that's why it works, and that's why people have a good time at the theater. It is also very, vulgar. But to tell me that you could sit there for 2 hours and give it a failing grade, meaning you weren't entertained at all, that to me seems a little egregious.
Because it's so blunt. The humor is so blunt. I like things that are creative, inventive, and clever. When Ryan Reynolds looks at the screen and says, we lost to Passion of the Christ by $7 million for the first movie, it's way too obvious. It's not funny. It's not inventive. It's not original, unique. It's kind of sad that those jokes have to be so low, to be quite honest.
And you didn't think any of the kickback to Wolverine's character, any of the little digs at DC, there was some movie.
It's so obvious that anybody could think of these things, and that they just slapped them. They all threw them all onto the screen and said, "Here we go." Such obvious humor. If you've seen a commercial recently with LeBron James and Sprite, where he plays a baseball pitcher, and the announcer guy says, "That really looks a lot like LeBron James." Who thinks that's funny that you have to be so obvious in saying these things these days? It's like people, aren't very smart anymore. It's really sad to see.
But don't you feel, though, as a professional film critic, to be in such the minority, don't you ever just take a step back and think, you know what, maybe I'm just taking this film a little too seriously?
No, absolutely not. I got to say my opinion. I got to say how I feel. I can't give in at all to what anybody else is saying. I've never been about that my entire life, and I've been doing this for, 13 years now? Absolutely not. I have to take it like I see it and talk about it.
He's been doing
I respect that, Jackson.
He's been doing it for a long time, but you know what? And I respect him, but he missed the boat. Deadpool 2 is a fantastic movie.
And you know what? I respect your opinion. That's the beautiful thing about people talking about movies, and why I love talking about movies, is that everybody's got a different opinion, and everybody makes different interesting points, and I respect all of that. And that's what people should do when they have conversations. That was the beauty of Siskel and Ebert. The beauty of Siskel and Ebert was they fought like cats and dogs about various movies, but they did it sincerely and honestly, and that's why people loved that show and watched that show, and why film criticism is so
Well, there it is.
By the way,
guys.
I love that. I do miss that.
The new duo right there. There you go. Jackson and Cody. Let's do it. Let's do it.
The problem is, though, is I don't see any movies. I see like 3 a year. So I would just be
like
fighting.
Brian didn't see this. Brian didn't see this. We're so sorry this week. Brian only saw 0 of the movies. We're so sorry.
But I will say this, though. I don't need to have seen the film in order to have an opinion on it. So that could make for an interesting conversation. Jackson, listen, I don't want to shortchange this at all because we love your segment. If we do just review one film and that's all we have time for, what do you want people to go see, or what are people going to go see this weekend?
People are going to talk about Solo: A Star Wars Story. I saw it last night. It's the latest Star Wars movie. I thought overall it was very standard. This is a very standard Star Wars movie. There is nothing spectacular when it comes to anything. And the guy who plays Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich, took a while for me to warm up to him. It's a very dark-looking film. So if you want my complete review, later today, lights-camera-jackson.com, Twitter at LCJ Reviews as well. Still kind of getting my thoughts together on it, but overall, not too positive towards Solo: A Star Wars Story. I was expecting bigger things.
Excellent job as always.
Thanks,
and if people want more from you, Jackson, how can they do that, my friend?
Also on Instagram at LightsCamJackson. Big Memorial Day weekend. The summer movie season is here. Get to the drive-ins this weekend, and at least tonight. I know today's supposed to be a beautiful day as well. And by the way, Kelsey Grammer talked yesterday on The Talk. They want to bring back Frasier. He wants it to be an Act 3 for the character. So hopefully that interview's online. I'll put some stuff up on that today as well.
Have a fantastic weekend. Memorial Day. I know that you're going to be spending some time with your family, doing the important stuff. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Take
Jackson.
care.